After the minifig shop, we drove through a Jurassic Park entrance to an elk and bison park. We saw elk and deer and elk and elk and elk butts and elk getting arrested by police for loitering and no bison. After that, we drove to our next campsite, a KOA in Springfield, Missouri. I set up the tent and then we went to sleep with nightly sounds. Which is okay because we're used to that. Next morning, the younglings made castles in the dirt, found some diamonds in the mud, then it was back to Route 66. We passed Beeswax from Vigilante 8, and luckily he didn't have his special equipped.
Gonna sting you real good.
And then arrived at our Airbnb, which was on a horse farm. Had some good old Oklahoma barbecue at a place called Trails End, where I learned that around these parts, you get a piece of bread with your food. Not a roll or fancy toast, just bread. This was weird to me, but the waitress laughed when I asked about it. Then we went to an awesome playground called The Gathering. We fed billions of fish and a few turtles, explored all the weird play areas, and swished a penny. When we got back to our Airbnb, our hostess had left us some homemade banana bread. The next morning, there was a cicada shell on our tire, and the girls rode horses. After that, we drove to Oklahoma City.
Is that a bus?
Strangely, this wasn't the last burnt-out carcass of a bus we passed on the side of the road. It wasn't even the second to last. So after leaving the outskirts of the Thunderdome, we made it to the next store, Bricks Minifigs. Okay, city. We're at another Bricks Minifigs, my second one ever.
I'm Josh. I'm Will. I'm the manager. Will's our social media guy and cash register guy. The best one we got.
When I came in here, I was wondering if it would be similar to the other Bricks Minifigs. I wouldn't have known this was another Bricks Minifigs aside from the logos, because it's completely different.
Once you get into the franchise, it's pretty much, hey, there's these rules you gotta follow per Lego, and there's these rules you gotta follow, kind of us. But for the rest of the thing, do whatever you want.
And Will, you came from GameStop.
I went from GameStop to the Lego store, and then I left the Lego store to go campaigning, and now I'm here.
It's almost a natural thing. It's kind of like one kind of toy nerd fandom to another toy nerd fandom.
Yeah.
Josh, you came from something a little different.
Yep, very different. I pretty much had a career as an automotive mechanic. I was a C2 master mechanic, a bunch of fancy certifications and all that. I was a dealership tech. Like, you know what? Let me see if I like Lego still. And I bought some, and I did like it. And then I was like, I wonder if I can make money with Lego. Everyone's got a side hustle nowadays, you know? I've got kids. I got mouths to feed. Started a Bricklink store, and it started making it to the point where I was paying my bills with it. And I was like, you know, I'm not working on cars anymore. It sucks.
So I think the biggest thing that a lot of people, especially with like BAM franchises, is that just because our franchise means that we're not mom and pop. No, we're definitely mom and pop.
Definitely mom and pop. We had a lady come in, and she was an old lady, but she had a bunch of the Yellow Islander guys, with the little plumes. But all the bricks in there were nice. It was just bulk. And all those dudes were like melted, like a crayon in the sun. And I was like, did your kids like burn them or something? She was like, oh no, my kids never touched fire or anything. And I was like, well, you said you had 3 boys, so you they did, you just don't know. It was like they were laying on their back, and their arms and everything were there, and it like melted them in.
Wow.
And it was the wildest looking thing. Their hair pieces and everything, their smiles, the basic smile and everything, was like big stretch smiles. We did have them for a while, then they eventually got cleaned out during one of the big store cleans. But
We actually have people come in and they'll display their stuff with us. The top row is all of the original like El Dorado stuff that you can't find anymore, that Lego's now releasing because you can't find it. And that's essentially where all of that goes. We even have our own stuff that we've built in there and that we throw in there from time to time.
Cool.
my theme's definitely Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, because I grew up with it. If it's a weird mold, or it's one of those, is this even Lego? I'm buying it.
I like it.
My favorite is those little green 2-hinge Mars mission aliens from that you would pump through the tubes and everything. I am very slowly army building them as they come in. Yeah.
After Josh said he was into the Tobey Mag Spider-Man sets, I decided to quiz him with the question I almost stumped Dom with a few months back.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is.
Not only did Josh know the answer before I even finished asking it, but he gave me the backstory behind it. So there was a set that was canceled.
Yes.
Oh, so you know.
Yes. Lego used to do a thing called Lego Studio. They did a Lego Studios Spider-Man set of him wrestling Bonesaw, Macho Man Randy Savage. The issue is they didn't officially own the trademark licensing. They called Bonesaw Wrestler. The set was Wrestling Scene. And then they took Spider-Man and did the official print on his chest and everything. And Sony saw that. And funnily enough, not but like 7 months later, they got the licensing. And that set is a real set that doesn't exist.
I'm pretty certain that incident is what ended up catalyzing Lego to get the licensing for that.
Yes.
Because they saw the demand, and that was at the time where Lego was having a really, really hard time with stuff.
Yeah,
they were literally reaching for everything.
That Spider-Man, the balaclava-faced Spider-Man, was released in the first one of the car chase after Uncle Ben's tragic murder.
Yep.
And they have him in that exact one that's in the studio set. You can find almost everything on the wrestler except his torso.
So is there a story behind these, or are these all for sale, or are these your personal collection?
Almost everything in here is for sale.
Yeah, so we ended up, we had, a lot of this stuff just walks in. That's the beauty of it, is about 90% of it walks in. These two right here, these are some of the part of the first edition Batman stuff that came out 2005, 2006. Yeah. Funny enough, we ended up having a Toys R Us manager come in at one point, and that was part of that buy.
Yep.
So, and it just included
a bunch of cool stuff.
A bunch of cool stuff.
Did you get the marketing stuff?
Yes. We got we got like a glued and screwed ARC 170 that was, which, it was glued and it had the screw holes in it.
It
had a couple of screws in it.
Yeah.
And it had the play features of the wing expansion was like not there. But it was weird. It was like a Lego specific build.
On the outside,
Yes. And if you flipped it upside down on that bottom, there was a nice hole where someone had just ran a drill in it and then ran it looked like 2 deck screws or something.
So 7 minutes away, you have a competitor.
We do.
Do you have any words for them? I'm going there next.
So, Eric's definitely a weird guy. I've never seen his stores. I've never been to his store. The people that work there are weird people.
Wow, I could not believe Josh said all that. I guess we'll have to ask the same question at the next store. But for now, it's back to camp for the haul video. Welcome back to the Fire of Hauls. We are back from Oklahoma City, OK Bricks and Minifigs shop. I got a mystery minifig. I should have waited to open it on camera, because that would have been more epic. But it was a Series 22, I think.
Wait, you already did this.
I don't think I did.
Yes, you did.
You guys talked about these?
Mm-hmm. I remember. We were at our Airbnb.
Here we are at the Airbnb in Amarillo, Texas. And I'm going to open the mystery minifig I got from Bricks and Minifigs back in Oklahoma City. Matt said or Josh said he knew what it was, so we'll see about that. Here's the business cards and the sticker he gave me. And this was a cool series. So I don't think there's any I would mind getting a duplicate of, and the others I don't have. I think this is after they started being $5 a fig, which is when I stopped completing the series and only getting the ones that I really liked. Oh, cool. Look at that, girls.
What?
It's a little pony girl.
Oh, wow. Can we have her?
How appropriate. This is awesome because we actually stayed at a horse farm the night before. So Josh said he knew which one, and I'm sure he did because he probably felt either the horse very distinguishable, or maybe the hat, which is also very distinguishable. Cool. Yeah, I don't have this one.
What is this for?
It's just an extra piece for the carrot. There we go. Thanks, Matt and Josh. And then I got these, Marty and Madison, each picked out their own. So there you go, girls.
Madison. Marty.
Have no quarrel with him or anything. Eric's a good guy. His store is definitely unique. Other than his, I've never been to a Bricklink store that get converted to brick and mortar.